If you're a coach and you have never felt like you were trying to convince or force somebody to make a decision, do not watch this video. It will not help you. But if you are a coach and you've been on a call and you're like, I feel like I'm convincing, I'm feeling desperate, definitely tap into this call. I'm going to share with you the anti-sales strategy. So early in my sales career, I worked at a company that shall remain nameless. They got in trouble for selling education. And the number one salesperson at the time, her name was Nicole, and she was always the top performer. Now, I would find the top salesperson and find out what they were doing that I wasn't. Very simple. So I rolled up on Nicole. I asked her, could I sidejack? I listened to her call. She was very laid back and it was very interesting. She didn't do a lot of talking. Didn't ask anything out of the ordinary. Call went very smooth. The person signed up, no problem. So after the call, Nicole, if you had a secret, what is it? Why are you outselling everybody on the floor? Now, mind you, this was an introverted person, very quiet, nothing over the top at all. And she said, the truth is, number one, I let them do all the talking. So I've mastered my questions, but let them do all the talking. Biggest thing is I truly do not care if they buy. I'll tell you that shocked me. How is it the top earning person in the organization does not care if people buy? What's behind that? Like, how is that even possible? What does that even mean? And as she explained it to me, the truth is that number one, she always had the intention of making the sale, but she detached herself from the sale, meaning that I'm going to do everything I can to get them to the sale, but I'm detached from the outcome. Like it does not matter to me whether or not they buy. My goal in this call is to care enough about them to want to see them succeed, be curious enough to uncover what's getting in their way and tell them what they actually need to do. So with salespeople, it's no different from what I've seen with coaches. We walk into the conversation trying to sell, trying to convert. So it makes us eager rather than sticking with the diagnosis, really listening and understanding what's happening so that we can truly make a recommendation that fits that person. This is the biggest misconception about sales, at least people that are really good at sales, is that you are not there to convince anybody. You're there to help them make a decision that they have already decided that needs to happen. I always think about the example of when you go to a department store and you're looking at clothes, you already know you need a shirt. The salesperson's job is not to convince you that you need a shirt. The salesperson's job is to step in at the moment of decision and help you to facilitate a decision that you already need to make. You're going to make the decision anyway. Their job is to help you at that moment of decision. Because what people need to understand is just because somebody is interested does not mean that they're going to buy. Think about this for a second. You went into the store, you looked at it, you really wanted it, you got a phone call from somebody and you left the bag there. Or you like, nah, I can't afford it, the whole nine. You wanted that bag. And for my fellas, maybe you wanted that belt or you wanted those shoes. But that does not mean that you're going to buy. So your job as the coach, which you are the salesperson in this situation, is at that moment of decision, learn to facilitate a decision to buy because it's not guaranteed. I get a lot of coaches who talk to me. They're like, well, Kelly, I don't really feel like I need to learn how to sell because I have people saying yes to me. I get that. But are you confident that you have the skill set to take them from interest to buying? So when it comes to the anti-sales, this is the problem that we're trying to solve. And this is the cost of not getting it done. So let's break this down into actionable parts that you can document or have with you. So number one, separate yourself from the outcome. If you've ever read the book, Never Split the Difference, he talks about separate yourself from the outcome. If you want the sale more than they want the solution, you've already lost. This is not about you. It's about them. The moment you make it about you, you're not going to be listening. You're going to focus on the wrong things and you're going to put them in the wrong path. If you listen, you see what they need to do, and then you write a prescription, just like your doctor would. Because the moment somebody senses that you're selling to them, the call is over. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been on calls with a person I knew at the moment they felt I was selling to them. I've fumbled the bag before. The moment they feel you're selling to them, you lost, because now I don't trust you. But if you're helping me solve a problem, I'm in pain, you're helping me solve that pain. So the second part to this is we want to diagnose before we pitch. The problem that I see show up for coaches with this is that they want to jump to solving before actually listening to what the problem is and what's happening, and really understanding and allowing the person to say it out loud that this is the problem. This is what's going to happen if I don't solve it. And when you do that and you start to pitch, it immediately pushes the person out of the right state, because now they're no longer in pain and all they can think about is, oh, you're trying to get my money. Rather than what you really want them thinking about is, I have all of this pain and I need it to stop. Kelly, how can you help me make this pain stop? My mentor used to say, given the wrong diagnosis is malpractice. They needed a Tylenol, you send them to brain surgery. That is a problem. And that's what happens when it becomes about money and your sale rather than helping the person. If you help them, they will help your pockets. If you help them, you're going to make money. But it's all about how you view and how you show up for the call. Everything else is secondary. So the third one is we want to do curiosity over scripts. Curiosity over scripts. So this is what I mean by that. When I was training sales, or anytime I'm talking about sales, people are like, well, what questions do I ask? It's not so much about the questions that you ask. It's really more about, where do you want to take them? Where do you want to drive the conversation and get the information that you need? The best questions come from genuine curiosity, being genuinely curious about the person. I will caution you that genuine curiosity, uncontrolled, can lead to a long conversation about nothing. You do want to be genuinely curious, but make sure that you're always guiding them where you want them to go and not just all over the place. So I'm not saying that scripts don't work, because that's not true. Think about this, and this is the way I've always taught this and I've always viewed it. If you are at zero and you have zero sales skills, a script will get you from 0 to 30%. If you have a script and the script is working for you, if I want to get you from 30 to 60%, then I want to teach you skill, right? So now I want to take your close rate from 32% to 60%. That leap is going to be skill. That's only going to come from coaching and practice. Just telling you. And there's another part to that, but if we can get 60%, we'd all be happy, right? We'd all be happy, okay? So I'm not crapping on scripts. If you're just getting started and you really want to go, you want to have some type of structure, get a script. Follow whatever the best YouTube sales guru is saying, or Instagram, or whatever. Write your script and do it. But that will take you so far, and that may be enough for you. But if you want more, you're going to have to get a coach, and you're going to have to improve your skill. Practice, get a coach, feedback. That's the loop. Practice with a coach, get the feedback loop. Taking this back to Nicole, and what I absolutely loved about her is she never chased, she never convinced, and she was a top performer. And I've seen this over and over again, because she was the catalyst for me to understand that I did not have to be somebody else. I did not have to perform in order to sell. I could just genuinely care about people, be genuinely curious and skilled, and drive them to the decision that is a win-win for both of us. A lot of people are just focused on, well, I just want to make the sale for me, rather than, yes, I want to make the sale. Of course I want to sell this to you. But the moment that becomes more important than the person solving their problem, you lose. Because let's just say you do get the sale, particularly as a coach. You get the sale, now they're your client, and you did not take the time to really understand their problem. Well, now you got a bad client, and now they're pissed and they want a refund. Or they don't say anything at all, and they go talk about you, about how bad of an experience that you did not deliver. So it's important that you base your foundation on, can I solve this problem? And making sure you don't know if you can solve the problem until you're clear on what the problem is. right? So we want to make sure that we do that. So always want to end with how can you apply this today? How can you get started today? Before your next call, I want you to ask yourself, am I showing up to truly help this person or am I showing up just to close them? Because the intention that you go into the call with will determine how it ultimately ends. You help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. You have to approach every call like that. And guess what? It'll take away the anxiety. It'll take away the stress. I don't have an outcome that I'm tied to. Yes, I have an outcome that I'm driving towards. But listen, if this is not a fit, I'm going to get off the call. So I do need to have the destination, but I need to be able to walk away if it's not a fit. One other thing that I want to point out, if you're honest with somebody, what I've found is that person usually comes back around. They'll refer people to you. They'll even buy from you in some cases because they're clear on what you can do and what you can't. So make sure that you detach yourself from the outcome. Doesn't mean you're not overcoming objections. And we'll talk about that in another episode. But it just means that I am emotionally detached from the outcome. And my only objective in this call is to help you get what you want. I want to see you win. So this is the anti-sales strategy. This is one of many strategies you can learn. First of all, hit like, subscribe, share this video with somebody that you know might be struggling with sales.